Deep within an ancient forest, shrouded in an eerie mist, there lived 3 witches who were not your typical goofy, fun-loving kind. No, these witches were the embodiment of nightmare, their appearance so grotesque and terrifying that even the bravest souls would quake in their presence. They were known as the scariest-looking witches in the world. The first witch, Morwen, was a skeletal figure with skin stretched tight over her bones like a shroud. Her eyes glowed with an otherworldly green light, and her nose was long and crooked, resembling the gnarled branch of an ancient tree. The second witch, Agur, had skin like wrinkled leather and a face etched with deep, disturbing scars. Her eyes were sunken and black, and she had a single twisted horn that protruded from her forehead. Then there was Sedna, the youngest of the witches. Despite her youth, her appearance was horrifying. Her face was covered in warts and boils, and she had a thick, tangled mass of hair that hid her eyes. All 3 witches were hunched and gnarled, their bodies twisted by some unspeakable evil. They moved with a disturbing grace, gliding through the forest with long, sweeping gestures. Now these witches weren't just feared for their looks. They were also incredibly powerful. Their magic was dark and deadly, and they used it to curse anyone who dared to trespass in their woods. Many people had tried to fight the witches, but none had succeeded. They had all met horrible ends, their bodies left to rot in the forest as a warning to others. One day, however, a young man named Gareth decided to venture into the Forbidden Woods. He wasn't afraid of the witches. In fact, he had a plan to defeat them. You see, Gareth was no ordinary man. He was a sorcerer, and he had spent years studying the art of magic. He knew that the witches' power came from their looks, and he had devised a way to turn them into something else, something less terrifying. When the witches sensed Gareth's presence, they emerged from their shadowy lair, ready to attack. But when they saw who it was, they were taken aback. They had never seen a sorcerer in these parts before, and they sensed that this man was powerful. So instead of attacking, they decided to bargain with him. They offered him unimaginable power if he would just leave the forest and never return. But Gareth was not interested in their offer. He had come here to defeat the witches, and that's what he was going to do. He raised his staff and unleashed a powerful spell, and the witches felt their bodies changing. Their faces contorted in agony as their features shifted and warped. When the spell was complete, Gareth looked upon his defeated enemies, but what he saw shocked him. The witches were no longer horrifying. They were beautiful. Morwen's skeletal face had become a beautiful, if somewhat gaunt, visage. Her glowing green eyes were now a striking emerald. Agur's leathery skin had become smooth and supple, her disturbing scars vanishing without a trace, and Sedna's warty, twisted face was now that of a stunning young woman. The witches had never looked so good. Yet they were horrified. Their beauty was unnatural, their features sharp and defined to an almost predatory degree. Their eyes, once warm and inviting, were now cold and soulless. They looked like porcelain dolls, beautiful yet lifeless. Gareth had succeeded in defeating the witches, but at what cost? He had turned them into something even more terrifying than before, something that haunted his nightmares. For the witches were now beautiful, yet soulless creatures who had traded their fearsome looks for eternal damnation, and as he watched them disappear into the forest, he knew that he had just unleashed a new evil upon the world. So remember, sometimes it's better to be feared than to be pitied, because these witches might be beautiful on the outside, but on the inside they are pure evil.